Alright, this video is a follow-up to one I made a few days ago asking whether or not rack extensions are going to be dead now that VST support has been added to Reason 9, or will be added to Reason 9.5 at the end of the month. And my conclusion there was probably not. There was still some value to rack extensions, but then after having a lot of great conversations with you guys down in the comments of that video, which is linked below and above and below. I'm directionally challenged. I've come to think that there really is still a strong case for using rack extensions. And it seems like a lot of you guys are still definitely in favor of good rack extensions. And I'll just summarize some of the best comments that I got. One, which is just when it comes to utilities and CV type controls, rack extensions are always going to be the best. Another common comment I heard was just that rack extensions really felt more comfortable and you felt more creative with them. A third was just that rack extensions feel like Reason, and if you're going to be using Reason, use the rack extensions. Why not use VSTs? If you wanted to use VSTs, you'd be using another plugin. And some people also said that they thought that they could do pretty much everything they needed to do with rack extensions. And I think that's kind of true, but there are a lot of VSTs that I'm excited about, which I'll talk about in a subsequent video. But I think another thing that I really need to point out about why I don't think, actually there's three things. I'm sober, I swear. Three things that I think happened in the past week, three developments that I really think were going to solidify the longevity of rack extensions and show that Propellerheads remains committed to the format. First, a bunch of really exciting new rack extensions were just released or announced in the past week since the 9.5 update. And these seem like really powerful, exciting new rack extensions. Rob Papen has a new EQ, or Papen, I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. A new synth has been announced, or has been released, I think, called Resonance, which is more focused on bells. And I've heard of a few other ones that I don't remember them off the top of my head. So it looks like there's still a commitment, at least in the short to mid-term, to develop more rack extensions by the developers. The second thing is that Propellerheads had a huge rack extension sale, and they still have one going on. And there's a link down below if you want to get in on this, the May Madness. It's really, there's a lot of things on sale. If you've been waiting to get some plugins, now is the time. It's, you know, I think it basically is their way of saying, we realize that maybe rack extensions are overpriced compared to VSTs, or at least that the pricing scheme of rack extensions is stale compared to VST manufacturers. You know, when you think of somebody like Waves, when they have like literally the biggest sale ever, always, it's kind of hard to, it doesn't line up. So I think we'll see probably Propellerheads moving towards a more dynamic pricing of rack extensions as they have to compete with VSTs. And finally, I think the third big thing was a blog post from Propellerheads yesterday from their founder and president, who was just talking about how committed they remain to rack extensions, how thankful they are to developers up until now, and most importantly, how they said they have further updates planned to the software developer kit to allow increased functionality and abilities in the rack extensions. So basically, they're going to be adding new capabilities on the back end, which is going to allow developers to make more and more powerful rack extensions. So that's what I think. What do you guys think? Does this sort of change your calculus on whether or not rack extensions are going to die? I think it does. I think it shows that there's going to continue to be a place for rack extensions. And also, we haven't even really talked about players, but if they start making rack extension players, perhaps we'll also see like a whole other path of developments. So if you haven't already, please take a second to like and subscribe to this channel and this video, and leave a comment below because I was a little bit on the fence last time about whether rack extensions would be just totally steamrolled by VSTs, but I think they're here to stay.